This conference will now be recorded.
Hello, and thank you for joining. My name is Precious McCowan, and today my peers and I will introduce to you a toolkit titled, "Is a Kidney Transplant Right for Me?" This is a resource that was developed by kidney patients for kidney patients. The presenters you will see in this video are all members of the forum's Kidney Patient Advisory Council, also known as the KPAC, and they are authors and contributors of the toolkit. The Forum of ESRD's Networks is a not-for-profit organization in existence since 1976. The forum supports and advocates on behalf of its memberships, the 18 ESRD networks in the United States. The forum's mission is to improve the quality of care to patients with kidney disease. The KPAC is one of 3 councils of the forum. We provide the patient perspective and a voice to the work of the forum, bridging the gap between patient experience and provider performance. We have developed 4 toolkits for patients, with a 5th on the horizons. We have the Grievance Toolkit, finalized in 2016. We have the Depression Toolkit, finalized in 2018. And we have the Financial Help Resource, finalized in 2019. And we also have the Transplant Toolkit, which was finalized in 2020, which we will be highlighting in this video. This video will provide a brief overview of each chapter of the toolkit. The toolkit is available as a free download from the forum's website at www.esrdnetworks.org.
We'll start with Chapter 1, Overview of Decisions. If you or someone you love is dealing with kidney failure, you're facing many decisions on how you want to live your new life. One of the first options that comes to mind is transplant. On the surface, this may seem like a simple question. Why wouldn't you want to get a transplant and get off dialysis? It's important to realize that a transplant is not a cure. It's simply a treatment option, often the best option for many of us. But you'll still have kidney failure, and you still must follow the proper medical procedures to maintain your transplant. There are a lot of risks and rewards to consider before you make an informed decision. In the following chapters, we'll be talking about some of the risks and rewards. We'll be sharing some of the information we wish we had known to help us make our decisions. It's important to stress that no 2 people will react the same to any given situation. We can only share what we experienced and what we learned. We hope this will help you make the first decision.
In Chapter 2, we introduce the rewards. Of all the rewards, an improvement in the quality of life is usually the first one noticed and has the greatest impact. Bonuses are energy and freedom. Long-missed activities and behaviors can be resumed. Tomatoes and potatoes back on the plate. New experiences can be commenced, and a longer life enjoyed. Uh-oh.
Chapter 3, Risks. As in any major surgery, there are risks. Transplant is no exception to that. The list of risks can sound long, but know that there are resources out there that can help you prepare for them and overcome many of them. It all starts with the workup. Your transplant center will require a complete workup to determine if you're a good candidate to receive a kidney transplant. They want to make sure that you are in physical, emotional, and financial position to be successful and to sustain the transplant. It starts with the physical exam, which some patients have described as the best health evaluation ever. The purpose is to make sure that you're in good enough shape to get through the surgery and recovery and to successfully sustain the transplant. Then there's the psychological workup, which will be used to determine if you're in a strong mental and emotional position, and if you have a support team in place to help support you through the waiting process and through the recovery process once you've received your transplant. And then lastly is the financial workup, which will help to determine if you have or if you can find the financial resources necessary to cover the out-of-pocket expenses. These workups may seem intrusive, but they are in place to help you avoid some of the risks involved in the transplant process. So what are the risks? They fall into about 3 categories. The first one are the recovery risks. As in any surgery, there are recovery problems that can develop. You may have some of them, or you may not have any of them. You may receive a sleepy kidney, which is one that's a little slow to kick in after you've received it in your body. You may have pain. You may have bladder issues, particularly if you haven't peed in a very long time. And there's always the possibility of infections. So they will be taking very good care of you in the hospital. It's important for you to maintain that care after you're discharged and go home. The second risks are important. They are rejection risks. Not everyone will experience rejection episodes, of course, and it's important to know that many of the rejection episodes can be halted with medical intervention. They may require hospitalizations, and they often cause a great deal of emotional stress. It's important to know that you are not alone. In fact, over 20% of the kidney transplants every year are retransplants, people who have indeed experienced rejections that could not be halted medically. Most of the time, they sign up for their next transplant and get right back on the boat again. So don't be afraid, just be prepared. And the last risks are the possible side effects. Side effects are always possible and should be discussed. It's important to know that not everyone experiences side effects, though. And if you do, there are often options available to help relieve them. The immunosuppressant drugs that you're on may have some side effects, and you will be on these drugs for the rest of the life of your kidney. So there are medical ways of helping to alleviate some of the side effects that you may be experiencing or switch the meds around a little bit. The risk of infections, as we talked about before, they continue long after you've left the hospital. So you'll need to maintain a healthy lifestyle and avoid infection, places of more infection risks than others might. And lastly, there are other possible side effects. They're not common, but you may have an increased risk of onset diabetes, of high blood pressure, bone thinning, certain cancers. Not everyone does, some do. So just be aware of them. And know that there are resources out there to help you overcome and work through any of the experiences that you may be experiencing.
Chapter 4. Hi, my name is Mary. I was diagnosed with kidney disease when I was 9 years old. I was on in-center hemodialysis for a period of time. My transplant surgeon told me I had 3 choices. 1, chronic dialysis, 2, a transplant, or 3, I could die. I wanted a 4th option. There wasn't one. I decided to have a transplant. I was so fortunate that my brother Doug came to the dialysis center and said he was going to donate one of his kidneys. Transplant gave me my life back. I was able to finish school, feel better, have more freedom and independence, and live what I felt was a normal life. I continue to watch my diet, such as watching my salt intake. I get out and exercise. I enjoy yoga, hiking, and biking. I also make sure I get immunizations such as the flu shot. I call this my wellness plan.
We've included several resources in the toolkit to help you through the decision-making process and to help prepare you for a transplant if that is the path you choose. One of the resources is a worksheet designed to help prepare you for your visit with the Transplant Center. It includes sample questions you may want to ask the transplant team during your visit. Again, this toolkit was written by patients for patients, and we thank them for sharing their experiences and stories. The Forum is a not-for-profit organization, and our work is done by volunteers committed to improving care for all kidney patients in the United States. If you're able, please consider the opportunity to donate to the Forum and supporting this and future educational materials. To receive the latest updates and information about new resources, follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Our patient toolkits are available as free downloads at www.esrdnetworks.org. Thank you so much for watching.